What's up, y'all? Welcome to the Hustlin' Hoops podcast. Today we are running the three-man weave. I got Duve over here on my left, and below me we got Mindy. How are you guys doing today?
What's up? What's up? I'm doing well. It's been a little while since we've been on the podcast, so we've got a ton to talk about as always.
Absolutely, absolutely. Duve, what's up with you? How you doing?
Doing well. Been watching a lot of basketball and hockey lately, and tough to see Shub not here, but he'll be back soon. So three-man weave today, but I'm
Absolutely,
excited.
absolutely. All right, well let's hop right into the fast break. We got some updates on tonight's game, Celtics versus Heat. Al Horford and Marcus Smart are going to return. Marcus Smart is probable, but we all kind of know that's most likely a yes. What do you guys think about that? Any initial thoughts on Marcus Smart coming back, and you have Al Horford, that big presence to give Robert Williams a little break? What you guys think?
I think this is a huge impact for them because we saw Grant Williams and Robert Williams and Tice getting more minutes because Horford and Smart were out. So I think with them, they're huge rotation players, as we already know, and with all that Marcus Smart brings on the defensive end, it's um it's really going to test the Heat, and it's going to make for an exciting game tonight. So I think the biggest thing is getting Al Horford comfortable and not like rushing him, because I think you could say whatever you want about the other guys, but I really think he could be called their anchor, and he's their guy who's been there. He's left, but he's come back, and now he's an impact guy. He's a catalyst, and I don't know, when he's firing, everyone else is firing on all cylinders. So not to take anything away from Marcus Smart, though. I think like if it was just him coming back, I think that would also be huge.
Yeah, hit it spot on. Al Horford has been huge for this team, offensively and defensively, especially against Giannis last series. He posted him, got his revenge, and had a great game that game. I forget which one that was. It might have been like game 5 or 6. I think
Game 5 or
5.
6. This was one of the two.
But not to mention Marcus Smart, Defensive Player of the Year. They missed him when they had to. Pritchard played a good game, but it would be better if he didn't play that many minutes. But with Derek White out tonight, which I know we're talking about next, it's kind of like a little replacement. Peyton Pritchard will still be getting these minutes, but Marcus Smart, I assume, is back tonight.
That's what you were pointing out earlier. You wanted me to. Got it. Another thing from last night's or the other night's game that I thought was interesting, and thank you to NBA.com's John Shishuman,
Shouts out.
the man's.
We appreciate that,
He
man.
reported that on Tuesday was Boston's worst defensive performance of the playoffs, with the Heat's 118 points on 97 possessions. That is the worst they've done so far. And given the teams that they've gone up against, where we've seen Boston kind of go up against, if we're being honest, probably the top talent in the league, the top teams in the league. Um, and they get, the worst defensive performance here. What does that really say? And obviously, yes, you're getting Marcus Smart back, but like you said, you're losing Derek White, and Peyton Pritchard is still getting those minutes, and that's kind of where the issue is. What do you guys think about that? And going into game 2 with that change, like you guys already touched on a little bit, do you think we're going to see another defensive, struggle from the Celtics tonight, or is it the other way around? What do you guys think?
Yeah, the Celtics usually have at least Marcus Smart or Derek White in the game at all times, and both of them are obviously really good defensively. And I think I saw the stat their most efficient lineup was Smart, Derek White, Horford, and Tatum when all four of them were on the floor. That was their most efficient lineup. So it's tough not having both Smart and Derek White. So I think that's rubbed off. And I think whenever the game took a turn, it was kind of like midway through the second or third quarter. You just saw them, their lack of depth was really showing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Do you have any thoughts, or should we move on to
Quick thought. They had a good first 2 quarters, and then out of halftime, I think the Heat just came out running. It wasn't even, I think, they did. And after the game, I think it was Gabe Vincent came out and said in that locker room during halftime, the veterans just took over and they dictated the pace and how that game was going to end. And it really showed the depth wasn't there for the Celtics. So it's not like they didn't come out strong. And they also had a decent end of the stretch where they were like down 9 or 8, and then the Heat just blew it back up. So I mean, they have some things to work on, but they also need Smart, Horford. They need these guys and Derek White. So we'll see how that goes tonight.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think you guys covered it perfectly. The end of the game, they did get close, but like you said, the Heat kind of closed it out. You know, all of the flowers to Jimmy Butler. He really, really locked in that second half, and Max Strus was hitting a lot of threes. But I think the biggest thing is the Celtics just couldn't hold on to the ball. They just weren't playing smart. They weren't playing good basketball. And hopefully, coming in tonight, things go a little bit differently. But real quick, just a little fun little story. Yesterday during the day, there was a tweet with a photo that surfaced, in the afternoon, before game one, Mavericks versus Golden State. And it was Luka Doncic and Boban Marjanovic just kind of chilling at a bar outside, casual stuff, having a brew a couple hours before they play game one in the conference finals against, probably the second best point guard of all time and one of the greatest teams of all time. Like, I'm not judging. It's a funny, interesting story. And, I don't know. Any thoughts on that?
I mean, you never know if it was actually the day of the game, but everyone's got their thing, and Luca doesn't have to be the most athletic person to get the job done. It's not a good idea to do that, but I don't think those players are the players that, like, if they have a beer, they would be much worse.
Yeah, I mean, in the end, it doesn't really matter that he had a beer. It's just definitely funny to mention
Yeah.
and write down in one of those stories, like if they come out and beat them and it's true and it comes out that it was true that he did have a beer before game one. It's
Like, if you saw Jokic having a beer before a game, you wouldn't be mad.
oh, no one's mad. Well, at least I'm not mad. I
Yeah.
can't speak for other people, but anyways, just all right. Well, now that we covered the fast break, let's move into the main course of the podcast today. We're going to start off by talking about the elimination games from round two. Mindy, can you start us off on a series?
Yeah, the series that finished first was Heat Sixers, and it was as simple as if Harden played well, the Sixers could win, and if he didn't play well, then they couldn't. But obviously, Tyrese, Maxey, and Embiid struggled in Game 6, so the Heat were just the better team, and they showed that. But maybe the Sixers will be back next year, depending on how much James Harden wants to be paid.
A lot.
A lot.
A lot. That's your answer.
I want to say if Embiid was healthy, I don't want to say that things would be different, but I do want to say things would be
Things would be different. Yeah.
because
most
he wasn't
definitely.
healthy for most. I mean, you could say for most of the Raptors series, and then coming into this series. So he's obviously their MVP, their end all be all. Because Harden, he showed us he had one good game in the playoffs, and I mean, yeah, I don't want to get into that.
Two? Did he have two? Well,
it
we
was
should get into
one or
that.
two, which
Well, he
is
had-
just
We
straight.
should get
yeah.
into that at some
He had
point.
one
But if
really
you guys,
good game, and then
We don't
if you
have
guys,
to
if
get
you guys,
into that.
if you guys don't want to get into it now, I understand.
Oh,
I
gosh.
understand wanting to save face now that I'm finally back on. We can discuss that later. That's fine.
He didn't look like he had the heart, but
not at all.
I will say this: give Tyrese Maxey his flowers. I mean, he's going to be a bona fide all-star. I mean, maybe even a superstar. I mean, at this rate, he's young. I mean, he's young, and he was putting up numbers. I mean, he was putting up numbers. What do you want me to say? When you can perform like that, like, bro.
He's a flat out scorer.
Yeah, and he was the
Bucket.
Yeah. I was gonna talk about his Kentucky year.
He's 100% of that boy Knight's first team.
I mean,
Facts.
yeah, I mean, he's gonna be an all-star. We'll see. And I also want to highlight one more thing: the quote of Embiid saying, "I honestly don't know why we ever got rid of Butler." I mean, that's just like
a fact, but
I mean, that means there's something behind the scenes in Philly that's like something's wrong. And I don't know if that's
I can name
Morey
two or three names right now.
Whatever it is, but yeah, I mean, and now they're keeping Doc Rivers for next season.
That's one of the names on that list.
James Harden says he wants to stay.
And there's the other.
I mean, no, I'm talking like if it's been like this for this long and we're still trusting the process, I mean, there's someone upstairs. I don't know.
Their bench also really sucks. Like Danny Green started over Thibault eventually in the playoffs, so their bench was a little bit of Thibault and then Niang, Milton, and Korkmaz and DeAndre Jordan and Paul Reed. And I think that it's bad that they need to pay James Harden. They need to get rid of like Tobias and get some role players because they don't really have any great role players.
They need to build a time machine and go back and just have that Jimmy Butler, JJ Redick squad again. That's
facts.
That was the peak. That was the peak. And that's actually so sad to say about Joel Embiid's career. Like as much as I have shown disdain for this Sixers team on this podcast, I still love Joel Embiid. I still love watching him play. And it's disappointing. It's so disappointing to constantly see him get paired up with like, I don't know. I think like I said, that year was fun. That was a fun team. And they lost on a shot, and the Sixers said, I mean, Josh Richardson, you got Josh Richardson back. Like, what kind of organization thinks that's I know you had to lose Jimmy, like you were going to lose Jimmy, but man, if the Sixers could go back. All right, well, I think, there's not too much to talk about there, besides that. Let's switch over to the West real quick and talk about Golden State and Memphis. An exciting series overall. There were some high points, but unfortunately, with Ja's injury, and just kind of the way the series went, with the Warriors progressively heating up as games went on. I don't know. I do not know, but what were your guys' main takeaways from this series, whether it was from the Warriors or from the Grizzlies side?
I would say the Grizzlies got a little too big for their bridges this one. I mean, they got cocky, and I'm not even going to say it's rightfully so because they're young guys, and I could understand, but when they were playing that music and then they were down 3-2 playing music, like saying game 7, like, and then having the worker dancing in front of Draymond and Steph. You guys saw the clip.
No, that was Draymond dancing.
Draymond was dancing with the worker.
Yeah, but that's a hype. I mean, that's a hype guy at the arena. You got everyone in there.
I'm just saying,
who's working is
like,
dancing. More often than not, you even got the vendors dancing during playoff games. So like, I wouldn't hold it against the guy whose job it is to dance for dancing.
Well, I'm just saying. I have to point it out. We saw the clip.
It's fair.
This is what we do. We say facts. And the Warriors just, again, showed their experience. And you have to tip their cap. And
Give them their
I mean,
flowers.
Tip their
literally-
cap.
Tip our cap. I'm sorry. Excuse me. But yeah, give them their flowers. They're back again. And it just seems like whenever they're all healthy, this is going to be the result. And right now they're firing on all cylinders. I want to shout out Gary Payton because that was a tough injury. So speedy recovery on that end. And yeah, I mean, the Warriors are on a tear right now, and I don't see they're already down. They're already up 1-0 on the Mavs. So I wanted to say when we get to that series, I'll talk about it, but that'll be a good series.
Home team won. I'm not super worried. And they both shot horrendously from 3 last night. So
We'll talk about that.
yeah. All right. Let's jump back over to the East. Milwaukee and Boston. I don't know. I feel like in 5 years when, these guys are not, I mean, I guess Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, who knows? 5 years from now, we don't know. But looking back on the series, I think we're going to look back on it, especially these first 2 rounds as some of like the more exciting basketball in early rounds that we've seen in a couple of years, like a little bit. Especially this series, we had a lot of close games, buzzer beaters, damn near. Big takeaways, I don't know how much Milwaukee really you want to fully take this into account for the future. Besides, a few things, but when it comes to their main core, outside of that, what do you guys think the Bucks need to do to improve for next year?
I mean, I think with Middleton, they still make the finals this year. I still think it might have gone to 7 or 6 games, but I think Milwaukee would have won. But that's not speaking down on the Celtics. They've been really good. We talked about that earlier with Horford playing really well and Smart playing really well. But I don't really think the Bucks need to change anything yet. I think there's a little bit of a depth issue,
right?
But that's about it. I still think Giannis, Drew, and Middleton can get them to at least the conference finals next year.
I definitely agree with that. I think going into this off season, you should focus on getting everyone healthy and staying on this track, like Mindy said, and maybe in the off season addressing some depth issues. I definitely want to see this. Shouts out to Shub. I want to see them develop Nwora more.
Facts.
I think that would be a great piece for them coming off the bench, like he says all the time. Excuse me. And yeah, I don't like how Grayson Allen is.
I was just gonna say.
Yeah, I don't like how he's getting a lot of
Bye
minutes,
Grayson Allen.
And
yeah, he's got to go.
I think he should go, but
absolutely
he was like series. The not carbon copy of DiVincenzo, but like filling the same
just
role.
Worse. He was worse.
I would have rather had DiVincenzo.
I would have much rather
I'd
had
rather
all
not
defense.
have either of them. But.
No, well, I mean, yes, you don't like their personalities, but when it came down to it, DiVincenzo was a very good defender and was becoming a very good defender.
Yeah, spot up 3.
It made sense to bring in Grayson because he's a better shooter, but then you got rid of DiVincenzo, and it's just like, okay, now you got rid of Tucker too. Now you just don't have any bench defenders.
And they kind of stopped playing Pat Connaughton. Like he got some minutes, but he was not as many as I expected.
He's really mid. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, he had one good game. He had one decent game.
Like, do you ever watch a Pat Connaughton 3 and say like, that is definitely going in?
No.
Right. Even if it looks good, I just don't feel. I don't know.
Yeah.
He's got a better release than Grayson Allen, though. More art.
That's a fact. And quicker too. But yeah, I think you kind of encapsulated it perfectly. Which Mindy kind of noted at the end of his thing is like, there's really not a lot that they have to do that's big. I think they need to make the ancillary small moves on the side. Grayson Allen, figure out that shooting guard, like you said, bring Jordan Nwora up. improve that role so he can possibly be, at least figure out if he could be a bench scorer, someone who comes off the bench and gives you at least 15. Can he do that for you? And try to find another defender off the bench in the offseason. You just need more. Like Mindy said, it's kind of just on the end of the bench. But that's really it for them. And then our final second round series, Phoenix and Dallas.
Everybody
Save the best for
talking
last.
when they up.
Does anyone?
Mindy, can you repeat
start?
that quote, Mindy? Actually, what'd you just say?
Everybody be talking when they up.
That's a fact.
Did I say that wrong? I feel like I
It's
said
just
that wrong.
funny as hell.
Okay. Everybody be tough when they up.
Does anyone want to touch this one first? Who wants to go first on this one?
I mean, you got to bow down. Got to give the flowers to Luka. I mean, you just have to.
A whole bouquet.
Yep, he did. I mean, some of the moves he was making, some of the shots he was hitting, some of the fouls. I mean, oh my. You just have to. That's a series, instant series. We're going to look back on in like 10, 15 years. Maybe even getting a documentary about it. Because, I mean, it went 7. CP3 getting kicked from the playoffs again. I mean, he said he's not retiring. I mean, I'm sure he's not. He wants his ring. But still, I mean, Luka. I mean,
I can
shouts
see the
out
Luka.
D-Book, but
I took it personally.
D-Book's a
clip
bitch.
right now.
I can't wear the D-Book jersey anymore after that. I need another 70-point performance before the D-Book jersey comes back on. You heard it here first.
Wow. High stakes.
I mean, Luka just babied him. And so did Jalen Brunson.
Jalen Brunson.
Yeah,
Brunson, I think, is really, if you're trying to call Devin Booker a bitch, Jalen Brunson is really, because Luka actually is like, he's one of those big bodies where he's not, but Jalen Brunson, I mean, that's just a strong ass dude.
Yeah, he responded to Devin Booker's shit talk in a really, really good
beautiful way.
Yeah.
Beautiful way. Because he took it at him the next 5 games.
That's how every coach teaches you.
Pause. The quote reads, "Everybody acting tough when they up." And I think Luka was just sick of their shit.
Absolutely.
And he was sick to losing to really overpowered teams when all he has is role players in the playoffs.
And then he finally, I mean, I don't know about what, you guys thought a couple months ago, but like, I was not expecting Dinwiddie to be the game 7, secondary closer. Like,
gotta give him his shouts.
Obviously, Luka was the guy, but like, dropped 30.
20 something.
Yeah, 20 something. But like, still, that's huge from Spencer Dinwiddie. Given his
he dropped 30. He dropped 30.
Right. Yeah. So, it's like, Luka, man.
Yeah, he played the perfect game. And
So,
he was smiling after every bucket, shaking his head.
I think actually,
you know
what? I'm being talked into this documentary, Duve.
You know what I'm saying?
I can see it right
That's
now.
What I'm saying.
I can see it right now. Like you end the documentary
with him drinking a beer with Boban.
Exactly, but
That's
like the last high point or whatever, the last episode is just like the beat down or whatever, and it's just him just it's gonna be this is definitely it's been a very, very fun and exciting first 2 rounds that we've gotten in the playoffs, and hopefully as we lead into our next topic, that's what we get here in the conference finals. Let's start with the game that's coming on tonight so that we can kind of sorry, Miami, Boston. Like we said, you got Marcus Smart coming back. You got Al Horford coming back. We got no Derek White, and then still no Kyle Lowry for the Heat. Predictions,
and of course,
or do we want to?
For some reason, like half of the Heat are game time decision, like every game, and they always play.
Well, PJ Tucker broke his or tore his ankle yesterday,
and he's not game time decision anymore after being game time decision for the last 4 to 5 games. Makes no sense. It's like
They go
Spo just
clubbing.
picks like 4 people and says, "Oh, your game time decision."
They're hungover in the morning. I mean,
Low-key.
they give their coach a call. They'd be like, "Hey, just put me on there. I'll be fine though." Then they get their IVs and they're good. I mean, that's what they do in South Beach.
Got it.
That's what I'm saying.
Got it. You're a
But,
South Beach guy. Okay.
But
Sorry,
no,
I
I've
didn't-
never been. I've never been.
Oh, okay. So you're not a South Beach guy. You just fuck with South Beach guys. You know.
No, I'm just saying they party down there. That's all I'm saying.
But as far as the series, I think the missing of Al Horford really showed in game 1. And I think the Celtics were really good in the first half, and it looked like they were going to win in the first quarter without their players. But as the game went on, you showed their Daniel Tice minutes and their Peyton Pritchard minutes, and the guys got tired. So I think it'll change today. Derek White
you
being
also
out,
factor in
kind of tough, but I think it'll be different.
you also factor in an extra 2 days of rest that Robert Williams has gotten,
Yes,
which
that's
adds
huge.
on to that. And conditioning.
shouts
Conditioning
out to
really is
him.
more the
He had a good first game.
for how tired he looked in
Yeah.
that first quarter. Yeah, like a lot of respect to him. He looked like he was struggling, but he did well. He did really well. So, respect. Predictions for tonight. What are we thinking? Who wins? Who
Celtics.
pops off?
Celtics. Jaylen Brown pops off, and Marcus Smart drops 20.
Interesting. On what shooting does Marcus Smart drop that 20?
I don't want that question. Like
9 for 18.
I was gonna say that. I was gonna say something like that.
That's
7 for 18 with a lot of free throws.
You don't need that many free throws if you're shooting 7 for 18.
True. He does shoot a lot of threes.
Actually, you barely need any free throws if you're shooting 7 for 18. And you said
Especially-
18 points. Yeah, you're shooting
20
no.
points.
Oh, 20 points. Okay, so you shoot 6, 3, 4, 5. I'm bad at math.
Depends how
Okay.
many threes you get. But I want to say this about the Heat. The no Kyle Lowry, I think it doesn't even affect them.
That's what I was thinking the other day.
Yeah, they have just not found ways to win, but they've this shouts out to Spoelstra. He's just plugged in the players, like we said on other pods. He's plugged in the players that have been producing, and Duncan Robinson, on the other hand, has not. So he didn't even see a minute, and I mean that was just. Shub loves that, but
I think it comes down to the defense, Although, I mean, it doesn't fully explain why they do that super small guard lineup with Oladipo.
He was getting steals. They were clamping.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying he's a bad defender per se, but like it's still, when you have Oladipo,
He used to lead the league in steals.
damn, you just keep bringing up the steals. Shit.
I'm sorry.
First team all defense.
I mean, just talking defense.
Yeah, but I'm just saying when you have Gabe Vincent, Victor Oladipo, and I think the other guard in that lineup is either Max Strus or someone else. I don't remember, but you got like 3 shorter guards out there.
The twin. Oh,
One of the
what's his
Martins.
name? Yeah, Martin.
Caleb.
Yeah.
Caleb
Yeah.
Martin. Caleb Martin. I don't think that's the lineup I'm thinking of. But whatever. It's just, I do have some questions about how long you can go without Kyle Lowry in a series like this, where I think the advantage that you have over Boston is the depth and the switchability, whereas Boston, I think, is just as switchable, but they don't have the depth. So when you get to a guy like Aaron Nesmith, who can, he showed that he does give you defense, and he gives you a lot of effort on that end, but he also makes some rookie mistakes. And he's not really a plus on offense versus the Heat, where like that guy for them is who? Victor Oladipo or I don't know, throw me out a name. A Caleb Martin, a Strus,
Yeah.
a Vincent, like all
Probably
those guys.
Vincent.
Probably like a Vincent. Like I'm
Because
trusting
he doesn't
Vincent.
usually start when
Dedmon looked good
Lowry
too.
plays.
And Dedmon always gives you like good effort. I mean, he definitely does his Dedmon things, taking those threes and some of the, I don't know. All I'm saying is, you look at it, like I said in our little thing that we couldn't upload, you look 1 through 13, they have a lot of similar strengths, but when you come down to it, they've got, 9 through 13 versus the Heat or the Celtics only have 9 through 10, 9 through 11. A little bit different. It's a little tougher when, your extra guys can't really do as much. I don't know. It's an interesting series. I have Heat again tonight purely because I don't know what it is about this playoffs, but I feel like home team is just ridiculously overpowered so far.
Yeah, it
mean,
has been
besides game
very
7 for
big
Phoenix.
advantage.
Sorry, Phoenix fans.
Yeah.
I'm
I still
also
think
with
it's
the Heat.
Celtics in 6, even if they don't win tonight. But yeah, home team has really been an advantage. And it's showing why the bubble, while I think it was really good basketball, was different.
Right.
I'm not taking anything away from the Lakers. It was not a fraud championship, but it's different and it's more exciting.
It's the travel
100%.
too. Yeah.
True. And then Duve, what's your pick for tonight?
Oh, I just said it. I also have the Heat.
Oh.
I don't know. I think Horford and Smart are gonna play, but I mean, I think it's the Heat. I don't think the Celtics are still gonna be right back to it. I think they're gonna have to go back to the Garden, and I think they'll win Game 3 for sure.
I think they match
If they don't
in the
win
Garden.
tonight. And like you guys have been saying about this home court advantage, I mean, the crowds have been bussing. It looks crazy there, and the environment has to be rocking. So
Heat
shouts out to anybody who goes.
Kind of a bad example, though. I will say that.
The Mavericks, it's crazy how different besides Game 7, the Mavericks have been a lot better at home. All their role players just shoot so much better at home.
Facts. That is true. But real quick, the Heat don't really have. I mean, they have a good crowd. It can get,
It gets rocking.
decent. But start of the first quarter, there's no one there. Everyone in the arena leaves until halfway through the third. I don't know.
Boston, on the other hand.
Yeah, Boston, on the other hand, is crazy.
Yeah, they're rocking.
And you're definitely bound to see Bill Simmons creeping over in the 5th row versus DJ Khaled. It's trade-offs. You either get, some less fans and DJ Khaled screaming, or Bill Simmons just kind of creeping behind 6 fans.
Or Mark Cuban running on the court after they win the game.
Facts. All right, let's switch over to the other conference final series, Dallas and Golden State. Mindy, as you were kind of getting into, you want to start us off with this one?
Yeah, like I just said, the Mavericks role players are a lot better at home. And that showed last night. Luka played fine, not great. And I think the start of the game for the Mavericks really sets the tone for how they're going to play in the rest of the game. When they start off well, it's okay, they're going to win this game or it's going to be really close. But when they when they blow a lead early on, they went down right away and then they came back. But then the Warriors, as soon as they came back, went on a 11-1 run or something. And with the Mavericks, it's the beginning of the game that really matters for them. And I think that's a lot different when they're home.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I want to build off that and your point on how they start the game determines the tone. And they almost had a record-breaking stat. It was when they went
3-point attempts.
Yeah, 3 for 19 after the first quarter, and the record was 3 for 20.
Wow.
So they missed it by 1, but in the little interview in between quarters with Jason Kidd, he said he's okay with that because they're getting open looks and he's just got to keep shooting those and they're going to fall. I mean, obviously they didn't fall last night. I mean, you go 3 for 19, there's not too much hope to bring it all the way back. So that's understandable, but I really can appreciate how Jason Kidd still has that motivation and the confidence in his boys. So yeah, I mean, they're getting open looks, and that's all you can do. And they live by the 3 and die by the 3. That's what they
Facts.
do.
More than the
And
Warriors almost.
Yeah, I think a lot more than the Warriors. I think the
especially
Warriors
with these role players, and that's fine. So they're getting these these open 3-point looks. I mean, you're gonna knock some down, you're gonna miss some, but in the end of the day, they're gonna hope to make more than they miss. Obviously, just not last night.
One thing I want to say about Jason Kidd is I'm gonna give him his flowers because I kind of shat on Jason Kidd a couple weeks ago for not being a good coach. Yeah, but
did
then
not.
that clip came out of him.
Shut up, dude.
Him on the sidelines saying like trap, just like telling everyone what to do all the at that
Throughout
one
a whole
play,
possession.
throughout the
Stay
entire
there, dope.
possession.
Stay there, dope.
And it was and it was good. And it was like, wow, that's coaching right there. So I have given him his flowers.
It's a style. It's a good style for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, that's some stuff you see in college.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
just
I
seeing
think
that passion.
it's especially good, I think, for, I think you have a lot of coachable players on that team, like very coachable players on that team with who clearly have taken, and again, to Mindy, what you're saying, like taken to Jason Kidd's culture, his ideology with defense and effort and all these things, finding good shots, things like that, taking your time on offense. I think it's been really impressive to see over, the last whatever months since the Porzingis trade, when they kind of made this flip at the end of the season to being like the best offense and the best defense in the league, which they seem to do here and there. This Mavericks team, which is just another Luka Doncic moment. I don't know. I think this series is super interesting. I think what you guys were alluding to earlier with the threes, I think we all know that with the Warriors, the 3 is obviously the biggest part, but the whole point is that it unlocks the rest of the floor for the Warriors. It unlocks that back cutting. It unlocks, the off screens and things like that, all of that. So my question is, last night you're not really hitting if you're the Warriors. You're also missing some free throws. You still come out with this win. Both teams are kind of shooting like shit. Is there really that much that you're going into game 2 as Jason Kidd or Steve Kerr? And obviously we're not coaches, we're not, experts, but, is there something specific or huge that you saw coming at a game 1 that you think is going to be that key factor in game 2 or key factors?
Yeah, I would say if I'm Jason Kidd, I'm saying, all right, we shot like shit. Here's what we can do to improve. Take the same exact shots, the same open threes. We're going to make more, obviously. We're not going to go 3 for 19 in the first quarter again. It's just not happening. And every time it's not a 3, they're obviously going to run an ISO. So I would say get Steph Curry on a pick and roll, get him isolated on Luka, Jalen Brunson, and that's probably it. And if you can't get an ISO play there, have them create and get the open 3. But just stick to that plan. And on defense, keep switching. And, I mean, they played good enough defense to hold the Warriors to not a good 3-point night, but not a great one. I mean, yeah, like if they can hold them to that exact same night and improve what they were doing, I think they come out with a win for sure.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. I think what you're saying, kind of returning to like what they did with the Suns, to close out that series with Chris Paul and Devin Booker. I think, we're seeing that a lot in these playoffs where there's just teams, whether it's injury or fatigue or whatever, where we just have these holes in lineups, these defensive, mismatch. And teams are taking advantage of it every time, or at least trying to. And I think, yeah, that's a good point. Mindy, anything to add to that?
I think he hit it spot on. I'm not gonna lie. I agree with everything he said. I think they're gonna need, like they had last series, a game where a role player pops off, because Luka will put in his numbers, but they're gonna need another Dinwiddie game. They're gonna need another Kleber game. They're gonna need another big Brunson game. He struggled last night.
Might even need a big
And
Bullock game or
a
Bullock.
decent Bullock game and a decent Bertans game. Like, they're just gonna need almost all of the role players to just play well at some point, and hopefully Luka stays steady, and that'll give him a chance to win some games. And my prediction going into the series was Warriors in 7. Home team wins every game, and I'm gonna stick with that for now.
Fair. So prediction for tonight is Warriors winning.
Tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night.
Sorry, tomorrow night. Yeah, and Doof.
I mean, I just set out a whole plan for the Mavs, so I feel like if I don't take them, I'm a complete asshole. So let's go Mavs. Let's go.
All right. I feel like I've never been so clueless about playoffs in my life. Like, just not knowing who the fuck is going to win.
Yeah, it's fun.
It is. It's really enjoyable. I just really like good Luka games. I think I'm gonna go Mavs. I don't know if I want to. Like, I actually do really want to see the Warriors in the finals for some reason, but
I want the Mavericks to win, but I think the Warriors will win. I don't care that much where I'll be mad if the Warriors win, but just seeing Luka take down the Suns and then the Warriors,
yeah, Mavs,
and then maybe even the Celtics or the Heat, it would be fucking historic.
I also want to point out one more thing about the Mavs mishaps last night. Andrew Wiggins had like 15 or 16 in the first quarter, and that was his like playoff record or all-time record. And if I'm Jason Kidd, I'm telling him, like, that's not happening again. So come out with a good first quarter tomorrow night and let it go from there. I mean, the Mavs are a team that, excuse me.
Bless you. Something, maybe.
Yeah, sorry about that.
But
they'll just stick around and then at the end of the game find ways to steal it. And I love those kind of teams. Like, they're underdogs. Other than Bertans, has anybody been to the conference finals on this roster? I don't know.
I'm trying to think.
I also want to say, while you guys are thinking, I want to shout out the Mavs for bringing Dirk to every game.
Facts.
I think that's sick. But
Boban.
I think Bertans was when he was on the Spurs.
that's what I'm looking at right now. I'm like,
But I don't know.
No.
So nobody has,
so.
right?
I don't
As
think so.
Boban?
Wait.
Boban,
no, right?
No, he was with the Sixers.
Yeah.
Choked.
I don't think anyone's.
So yeah, I mean, these guys are all experiencing.
I could be tripping now.
Something new, and the Warriors, seasoned vets. I mean, this is what they do. They do this in their sleep. But we've seen time and time again the Warriors can be rattled.
Oh no, you're right. I'm dumb.
Bertans
2017.
was?
Yeah, 2017.
All right, there it is. But yeah, just one guy, and I don't think Bertans is the
Against
type of
the
guy to
Warriors.
step up in the locker room and say, like, here's what we're gonna do, guys.
It was against the Warriors, by the way.
Oh, was that Zaza on Kawhi?
That was.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Wow.
Okay, now you're bringing back that
brutal.
memory. Okay.
That was their run.
That was wow. I completely forgot about that. They were about to win that series. I'm not gonna lie.
fully.
Yeah, Kawhi was gonna win
They
that.
were about to win that
himself.
series.
Yeah.
Man, but any more thoughts on the conference finals? Or we got like 15 20 minutes. We could go longer if you guys want. You want to keep going?
Yeah, let's talk about the lottery.
All right, fuck it. So moving on from the conference finals, moving on from the playoffs right now, we are fans of a franchise in despair. Up until lately, really last year, 2 years ago, with the arrival of Troy Weaver, the Detroit Pistons have sucked, and we have been fans of that. We have been here for that, and that's why, when it comes to a day like yesterday, and
2 days ago. Sorry,
Tuesday
bud.
night.
wow, that's crazy. 2 days ago. It's disappointing, but we can get into that later. But we really look forward to days like that, because that's how teams like us improve. We're not a teams like us, teams like the Pacers, teams like the Kings, the Rockets. We're not teams that are necessarily going to get those free agent offers, and even still, like, we don't even get high value trade targets, because we never get assets that are high enough. And luckily, for the Kings, they jumped up into the top 4. If you haven't seen the full order yet, number 1, we've got the Orlando Magic. Number 2, the Oklahoma City Thunder. Number 3 is the Houston Rockets. Number 4, the Kings. Number 5, the Pistons. We can get into the other ones later, but let's start with the top 5. What are you guys thinking? Initial reactions. Let's save the Pistons reaction for later. Let's start with 1, 2, and 3. Just as a whole, what are you guys thinking? Who do you guys think they target? Do you think there's any trades we see? Just let us know. First, initial thoughts.
Yeah. Well, I'll say that we use Tankathon all the time, and it's like the lottery simulator thing. And this lottery was all chalk. Like, nobody jumped up besides the 1, and that was the Kings jumping up to 4. Not 3, 2, or 1. 4. And
well, I think it was the Rockets jumping up to 3 from 4. When they had 4 and they took our spot. So then we dropped down.
yes.
We were the only
that
ones who
happened.
dropped.
Yes.
Right.
that
But
happened.
if anyone were to
Yeah,
move
no,
up
you're right,
from
you're right. Yeah.
into the top 3.
Just those 2 things happened.
Right. Yeah.
And I've done this
Go ahead.
Tankathon thing. We do 5 spins a day for the last month, and it has never been that chalky where it was set until we got to the Kings. So I think it's fake. I don't think it works. I don't think Tankathon works right.
Oh, you're talking about Tankathon.
Yeah.
It's a randomizer.
I'm talking about both.
It's a number random.
But as far as the top 3, I would pick Jalen Smith first. Or
What? Jalen Smith. That is a Maryland center who's now in the league.
what the fuck is his name?
I don't know.
No, I'm
Jabari
Smith. Sorry. I'm picking Jabari Smith first. Sorry, I blanked. I'm picking Jabari Smith first. I think Chet is going to be a bust. I think Paolo could be the best out of the 3. But from a Magic standpoint, I'm picking Jabari Smith first. From Oklahoma City, I could see either them or the Kings trading the pick. But I think Magic are 100%
You said
staying.
what?
The Rockets are 100% staying at 3. But if there's any trade scenario possibilities, it's either the Thunder or the Kings.
Right. In the top 5, you're saying?
Yeah.
Top 4.
Top 4.
Because we're including the Pistons. Because the Pistons would be the most likely team to
Trade up.
that, or Indiana,
Yeah.
or San Antonio, or New York, or Washington.
Okay, Doug.
There's a lot of teams that could trade up. But I think the biggest thing, and I was listening to someone else talk about this, and it's just completely true. The only real thing that we could see happen, where a team like Sacramento or a team like Detroit gets the possibility of nabbing a top 3 talent is if Paolo falls, if the Rockets don't pick, because I think you're right. I think Jabari Smith is number one. There's a chance it's Chet. We don't know how Orlando's feeling, but I think we all know that it's Jabari and Chet 1 and 2, and then Paolo is kind of that mystery prospect in a way where I don't think he fits in with Houston in the way that other people do. I think his playmaking can do something for them, but he doesn't play a lot of defense. At least he didn't in college. And he doesn't shoot super well right now. I know he shoots okay, but like he doesn't shoot great. And I'd like to see that for Houston. I think Jabari. I don't know. I really don't know who Houston should get. I think there's a chance that they swing on Jaden Ivey or Shadon Sharp. I think Jaden Ivey is the more likely one in that situation. I think,
But
I
they
think
already
Houston
got their guys.
but I think Houston
They got
sees
KPJ and they got Jalen Green.
they have not showed a lot of confidence in KPJ. I'm not gonna lie to you.
It wouldn't make sense for them to take Ivy. They would go with Banchero.
So you're saying there's no chance that Banchero slides?
I think there is because we're not.
What if they go Keegan Murray? That would be awesome.
That would be ridiculous if they went Keegan Murray instead of Paolo Banchero.
They'd be faded for that.
That would be hilarious.
I would love it.
Yeah, there is a
it's not
chance.
happening.
I would say for sure.
So who the only way he slides is if Houston doesn't pick him. So who, if not Jaden Ivey, are you saying that they're picking over Paolo Banchero?
This is tough because they're in a tough spot because they're gonna have options, and I think they're gonna have so much time on their hands and just make the wrong decision, like we've seen so many times in the history of our game. I don't know. I think there is a chance he slides because behind closed doors, we've heard about he's had some character issues. Banchero, he got pulled over for a DUI at Duke. No,
I care more about the defense. I care more about him not really.
You're on the court, but like I'm just talking like when
Yeah.
you're throwing millions of dollars at teenage kids, these things have to be taken into consideration.
Do you make your bed?
What?
You don't know that?
I don't know. I didn't hear what you said.
Oh, I said, does he make his bed?
No. What is that from?
Wow.
Yeah.
Troy Weaver was asking prospects last year if they made their bed. That was his. He when Cade was after Cade was drafted, he said, like one of the quotes that came out was like, yeah, we were talking to Cade and I just really loved his maturity. I was looking for certain things in certain guys and everybody in Cade, he made his bed in the morning, he did his laundry and I was just like, that's a lot of people in the Pistons community reference that a lot. I thought you guys knew what that was.
No, sorry.
Fair.
I will now understand.
Mm-hmm. Casuals.
Thank you for making me woke.
So, that's kind of the top 3. Sacramento, like you said, there's a chance that they're one of the teams that trades it. I was talking with Shub last night about this. There are strong rumors that Sacramento and Portland are the 2 teams that are being looked at right now as teams that are looking to trade out, possibly get a win now player. It just so happens that both of those teams have had strong interest in Jeremy Grant throughout the season. What do you guys think, in Sacramento's position? And we can kind of tie in Portland in this a little bit. What do you think Sacramento does here at 4? Do you think they trade it? Do you think they keep it? Obviously, a lot of it depends on who gets picked and what happens. Are there any trades? But off of what we have right now and what's projected, who's projected to be drafted where, what do you think Sacramento is going to do here?
I think as far as Jeremy Grant, 4 would be a little tough. I don't think they would just trade the 4th pick for Jeremy Grant straight up.
7 is a fucking stretch.
7 is also a stretch, yes. So maybe we could give them like Jeremy Grant and a future 1st round pick, like 2028.
If you're getting 4, you have to give a 5. Almost guaranteed.
Yeah.
Unless you're giving up one of your like which you might even still have to do when your key piece is like a Stewart or Hayes or something like that, because we're not giving up Bay.
Well, I'm definitely not trading Jeremy Grant and the 5th pick for the 4th pick. That's just not. It's not working. It's not happening.
That would be the most likely trade scenario, unless the Kings for whatever reason would be interested in a Jeremy Grant, Isaiah Stewart, 2023. Oh no, we don't have that pick. 2025 first round pick or some shit. 2 second rounders for 4 and Rashawn Holmes. That would be the deal.
And I wouldn't hate that.
If you don't want
I wouldn't
5 in
hate
that.
that, but like, it's kind of a lot. So I think my point is 7 is more realistic.
Right.
If we were to send them like Grant, Stewart, and
That'll get it done.
a couple second round picks for
Maybe.
7. Yeah, I think
If you
just
throw
the 2
Stewart
of them
in
would
there,
get it
I think,
down.
yeah,
We'll take on a contract filler from them, but 7 is definitely more realistic.
Yeah, if we come out of this with 4, 7, and wait, no, we're moving on to the Pistons without
No,
talking
5
about
and
the
7.
Kings.
5
We're
and 7.
talking about the Kings, or talking about the Kings right now.
If we get out of there with 4 and 5.
If we get out of there with 4 and 5, that'd be a joke and a fleece.
Yeah.
Because then we could draft the question mark for us and Keegan Murray and still pick a guy like, the question mark in Shadon Sharp, while drafting someone who clearly has, what he has in Keegan Murray and is going to provide that almost definitely, coming into the NBA. He seems like he's one of those guys where his game is going to translate pretty smoothly into the league. And then you add on, the potential of what Shadon Sharp could be. I don't know. I don't think that's going to happen, but
yeah. And that's okay. Like the only scenario where I want to pick Keegan Murray is if we get rid of Jeremy Grant, because I feel like we have Sadiq, we have Jeremy Grant, and at pick 5, I don't really want to pick someone that's not going to start, which kind of like not start right away, but I'm saying start eventually. And I don't think there's any scenario in the next 2 to 3 years where Keegan Murray would start over Sadiq Bey and to re-sign to Jeremy Grant. So I'm saying someone more like Ivy or Sharp, or if we trade for pick 7 and draft what's his name out of Duke or Memphis,
Jalen Duran.
Yeah, that's someone who could start in the next couple of years and fit in with Cade, Sadiq, and Jeremy.
I'm a big Ivy guy. I want to say that.
Boo.
I know Doug used to be a Big Ten watcher, but Mindy and I are, and Shub is as well. And I've seen a lot of Ivy and I've seen a lot of Murray, but judging that will be the Pistons, probably like that'll be our choices. And I mean, you can maybe say a Sharp. I don't know. He might slip. But if it's just Ivy and Murray, I would have to personally go with Ivy, because then personally I would want to start Cade at the 1, Ivy 2, Bay 3, re-sign Grant 4, and Beef Stew 5, and then Killian 6, and so forth. But I mean, if we go Keegan, then we almost are guaranteeing a trade for Jeremy, and I don't know, like I there's not many.
And then we'd have to start Corey Joseph.
Yeah, like we'd have to.
Like, no.
I feel like right now
It'd
Jeremy's
be in
value
hell.
isn't bringing back what we really need.
That 5 million player options about to be held this offseason, by the way. Don't forget.
For who?
For Corey Joseph.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'd rather have Frank Jackson, but it's all right.
Well, no, we got the option on him too. I just wanted to bring that up. But
No,
what were
I'd
you
just
saying about
rather
Jeremy
give
Grant?
him more money. I mean, more minutes too. But I was saying about Jeremy, I don't know how much value we'd get back right now, because everyone knows we want to get. They know we want to get rid of him. but they don't know what kind of clock we're on right now. And we don't even really know what kind of clock we're on right now. Like, are we trying to get better? Like, it seems like we are, but I don't know. Seems like Weaver needs to make a move, but he's waiting for the right one. And honestly, it just doesn't feel like that right one is coming. So we're just in another stall. And I don't
So
know.
His
I'm not gonna-
contract is through next season, right? Jeremy
yeah,
Grant.
it's through next season, and we'd have to re-sign him the following,
So he's
offseason,
probably
but
want
It's
to
like
leave.
it's an extension year.
well, no, he wants to stay. He wants to sign a big contract. That's the issue, and I think, I think Troy Weaver's thoughts are that if he keeps Jeremy Grant, if we have to keep Jeremy Grant, if he can't find the right offer, which I think the reason why it's taken so long is because during the season, you're looking to find not equal talent, but someone that can produce. And that's hard to find right now. People aren't just throwing that out there, especially younger guys that are producing. You don't want to just end up with, nothing after the Jeremy Grant trade and then have to scramble like we did at the end of the season, but for the entirety of the season after you trade Jeremy. So, you don't trade Jeremy during the season because you just can't get, in your mind, equal value back. Okay, that's fine. Now you're in the off season, which is a lot better time to trade a player like this when you're in your situation where you don't want to have to re-sign him. You don't want to have 25 million on the books for a guy who isn't that. He's not a $25 million player. He's a third or fourth option on a playoff team.
Yeah. And
A
he thinks he's the
contending
number
team.
one option on the Pistons.
Exactly. And that's not what we need. We don't need that. And that goes into why I'm scared of picking Jaden Ivey, is because he's a ball dominant guard. He's a guy who gets his highlights. He gets his own. And while I think, I don't necessarily think there's something outright wrong with that. It doesn't seem like he's completely locked in on the defensive end. It doesn't seem like he's all there when it comes to being aware of schemes and things like that, which is super important coming into the NBA when it's basically the same scheme. Like, you need to know this and you need to be aware of it. And while it's running, you need to be able to see something happen and react to it. Whereas he's been caught ball watching, he's been caught just kind of standing there sometimes on defense. And I don't know. There are some worries that I have on his end, and obviously Shadon Sharp is not the clear, cut perfect response to that. We don't know shit about him, but I'm just really worried about putting a small guard next to Cade that dominates the ball and isn't an efficient 3-point shooter and doesn't give you that much on defense. And with his frame and size, it doesn't look like there's going to be that much more that he can add for you. But
I like Mathurin. Ben Mathurin he's 6'6". He can guard the 1 through 3. He's athletic and can shoot the 3. So I think if we were to get the 7th pick and pick him, he's someone we could fit really nicely into our lineup because he's going to be good.
I think if the medicals come back too, AJ Griffin is high on my list. If the medicals come back safe. But yeah, I think, Pistons, interesting position. Let's just close it out with Indiana and Portland, because outside of that, I don't. We can save those teams. You know what? Screw that. Let's save the rest of the teams in the lottery for a full draft show, which we'll be doing sooner rather than later. We only really got like a month. So yeah, we'll come back to you guys with a much more in-depth breakdown on some prospects, give you, our picks, maybe for the lottery, maybe for the whole first round. We'll kind of, we'll figure that out as we get closer. But that's all we got for today. Leave us a like. Let us know how we did. We're available on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music. You can reach us on Twitter, Instagram, whatever your platform is. We got a website, hustlinghoops.com. Just hit us up anywhere. Let us know. Yeah, that's all we got for today. Have a good one, guys.
Peace.
Shots out.